Okay. So then it would have been 2010 so the infection cycle had wound down and Chimaira was going through the whole thing. What are we going to do here? Jim had decided to leave the band, then Chris did, and at that point it was Mark, myself, Matt, and Andols, and we I remember Mark and I talking that we needed to just have a major life moment with the band. What are we gonna do here? We gotta try to keep this together? Are we gonna push forward? And we decided that if we're gonna push forward, we gotta do it full force. Just leave everything behind, the fact that the guys had left the band, and let's make a new record. And we were totally 100%, okay, we're gonna do this for real, put everything we have into it to try to keep it afloat and do this. And we presented that to Andols, and we felt like at that time that he wasn't on that same page. And we almost were like, well, if you're not on that same page with us, then maybe you should step aside. And he was like, well, that's what I'll do. So I think he had maybe been feeling it too, that he didn't want to try to keep the ship afloat or whatever, so that's kind of how that ended, just almost like a mutual thing where we're going to put all our eggs in the basket as long as you're on board with that, Andols, and I don't think he totally was. Maybe he just wanted to keep coasting. I don't know that he would have quit the band or anything had we not presented it to him like that and given him an opportunity to bow out. Because we said that. If you're not with us 100% on that, then let us continue with somebody else. And we weren't trying to carve a path for you to get in or whatever, but once we heard that, then I think it was at that time that I was like, I know this guy Austin. Is that how you remember it coming about, or you have no idea that any of that happened, or like?
I don't really remember the details of why he left. So.
Do you feel that Mark knew of you at that time,
For sure.
Or had we
I'd come out and said what's up a few times, and for sure he was on Master of the Damned. So,
well, we were
and he was already familiar with Bleed, right? So through all of our random meetups over here, we had met all of you guys.
So you weren't a complete stranger to him.
Yeah.
He knew of you and stuff like that, and obviously he respected that I was vouching for you. This guy can do it 100%. He did the shit and all that. Here's our World War III. Well, he had heard you because Mask of the Damned, I think track 2 on the World War III EP. Mark did a guest spot on that little vocal spot, which came out sick and stuff. So he'd already been around that camp and knew about it and stuff. Okay, cool. So I think that was a no-brainer for us then to bring you in. And I remember our first jam. The riser was sideways, so your back would have been facing the bathroom back there. Yeah. Do you remember that? I think it was kind of sideways because I feel like I'm looking at you, and the very first thing I remember working on is Power Trip. Yeah. And you being like, that chorus beat is weird because the riff is dun 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 dun, but the beat is something like. Right?
Yeah.
And I remember you being like, that's weird or something, and we're like, well, I don't know. Yeah. And it's actually because, I bet a lot of people don't know this, that the Power Trip chorus riff used to be different, but Andols had already recorded his drums during the Impossibility of Reason sessions, and then Mark and Ben went back in and kind of rearranged the song, and Mark wrote that new chorus riff to the drums that were already there. So Andols never had a chance to redo his beat or whatever based on that riff.
I'm hearing that for the first time right now.
Yeah.
But that part rules. I mean, after,
It makes it a little more unique.
For 100%.
Because that's probably not what someone or Andols would have played if he'd heard that riff initially.
Yeah.
Dun 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 dun. You probably
but that's
would have
the kind of stuff that I love.
Yeah.
That's two things that make your head bob the same way, but they're different approaches by just minutiae, really. It just, the feel is just slightly different. Dun, 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 dun,
That'd be a cool band name, Minutia.
My Minutia.
So, but that's my first memory of you playing the Chimaira stuff.
Yeah.
Do you remember that particular jam?
100%.
Would you say that was our first time? Do you remember that moment or no?
Yeah, I remember getting the call. I remember just feeling another surreal moment yet again. It was just you and Mark on a 3-way call.
Were you doing anything at the time?
Huh?
Were you doing anything at the time musically?
No, I just moved back to California. I believe this guy had disbanded, so I was just kind of working and doing nothing,
So perfect timing.
It really was, yeah. And
so you came in, and did we do any shows before recording The Age of Hell?
No. I think you had already. I feel like you had already had that record recorded, or you were at the tail end of it. And it was
Maybe.
just you and Mark, right? For the most part.
I feel like we had a set of demos that we were working on first. But then we scrapped all those and started fresh.
Yeah.
And then yes, we made the decision to just. I don't remember exactly why. Maybe it's because. I don't know. I'm just making this up as I go right here, but maybe it's because you hadn't been tested yet, like making an album with us yet, and maybe we were worried about that, and that's why we had Shigo, who was just somebody that, had been in the Chimaira blood since day one,
right.
And who's a phenomenal drummer as well, and I think that's why we had him play on the Age of Hell. I would guess. I'd actually be interested to talk to Mark about that too.
Yeah.
Like why didn't we have you record the album with us? I don't know. I can't remember exactly, but. We made that record, and then I feel like our first shows were after that. No, did you play shows pre-Age of Hell with Chimaira?
We did we did a small run, and this is when it was, you, Matt, Emil, Z, and me were the new additions, right?
Maybe that was it. Maybe we said we're going to just make the record ourselves because it was just Mark, Ben, and I.
Yeah.
Matt had moved to Florida, and so I think we were just like, we're all right here. We can be at the studio every single day. There's no complication with having to bring Matt up and down. I don't know if he was working at the time. Maybe he was touring with Fear Factor. Or no, probably not yet.
Could be, yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. I think at that time maybe he was just like filling in for bands, like playing bass with like Unearth and maybe some Lamb of God stuff.
Yeah.
My timeline could be off. Because I don't think he joined Fear Factory until after 6 Feet Under, but I could be wrong about that. And 6 Feet Under didn't really happen until 2011. But so I think we just kind of decided we're going to just make it in-house, then bring in other musicians to go tour the stuff, see what happens, make the next record with these guys,
right.
Which then obviously ended up changing. So then, yes, so now Age of Hell's been made. It's me, you, Mark, Matt, Sean Z had replaced Bakuza on keys and backing vocals. Emil was playing bass. He had replaced Jim, which is insane. Emil on the bass.
Yeah.
I mean, well, he was great on the bass, but just to have that type of talent on guitar, but just playing the bass. Hey, sometimes you're just doing the job,
Yeah.
Whatever job needs to be done, and then Matt was still playing guitar, and then Matt and I dropped off, and you guys recruited
Matt Schlachter
from. It would have been Dirge Within at the time.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
And he replaced Matt.
Uh-huh.
Emil moved over and replaced me.
Uh-huh.
And Jeremy from Doth came in and as the bass player.
And that's why they were calling us Dothmera.
Dothmera. That's right, because it was three Doth guys.
Three Doth guys.
Yeah. Okay. So then that's Chimaira 2.0.
Yes.
All right.
Ultimate. Yeah.
Okay. So and then that lasted until around 2014. You guys made the Crown of Phantoms record. Mm-hmm. And which those are all your drums on that record.
Yes.
Did you have a fun time making that record?
Yeah. It was. I think I can't say it was my first. It was my first big record recording or coming up with all my parts remotely. Like that was just the era, like where it was like that was just so common to like everybody lives in another time zone and world basically. And you're just passing files around, Mm-hmm. So it was my first test of like, can I be influenced enough on my own to just jam this stuff out, create parts that I'm cool and content with. I still to this day wonder. I mean, I'm happy with my performance on that record for sure, but I still wonder like, what would have changed? What could have been cooler had we been in a room? All those elements. We were talking about that earlier today, but I was very, very pleased and happy with that. I think we all did, a kick-ass job on that record.
Yeah, that sounds fantastic. There's obviously a certain magic, what he's referring to here. There's a different magic that happens when you're playing together, writing material, that things will just change as different brains talk about parts and feel things. Oh, let's do that one more time, or oh, let's accent this little thing, or let's take a little rest here, or just things like that. When you're just pass the file along, play drums to this, you're kind of just constrained to that, and so you do the best you can, but you don't get to interact and build a chemistry within the arrangement with the other musicians, which is.
And I love that. That's one of my favorite parts about it all.
You love the jamming aspect. Me too.
Yeah.
And I feel that that's what's missing from so much modern music that even we're guilty of. You know,
I'm just, not to get off topic and stuff, but like, because I considered myself just way more of a listener for so much of my life before I like took music serious and I became a musician and band and did all this stuff, I took the same approach jamming with guys in the band. Like, I almost wasn't 100% with my parts until you were like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, cool, now I can move on. Like, I don't even care. This has never been for just me. I love that I can do it, but if you're not here ripping with me, I almost don't give a fuck. You know, like the same reason, like that collection and collective artists together in a unit and then delivering it to y'all. You know what I mean? Like
totally.
In the end, it's all for the next person next to me, regardless of if it's the fans or the guys in the room.
Totally.
It's all the same process to me. You know, I don't even know that I would just, if everybody died today and it was just me, I don't know that I would just sit back and play drums all day. I'd be bummed out. Yeah, I really would be, you know?
I think the best music comes from playing together and figuring this stuff out. Right.